Hello. Today we are traveling to South America to explore a wine nation that has redefined what it means to grow grapes in extreme conditions, Argentina. Now, if you rewind the clock about 30 years, Argentina was largely known for producing vast quantities of inexpensive wine for its own domestic population. The history here is deep. Grapes were brought by Spanish missionaries in the 16th century. But the modern quality revolution is recent. Today, Argentina is a powerhouse of export quality, famous for its intense concentrated reds and aromatic whites. But here's the catch. Most of the wine regions are technically deserts. In this session, we're going to break down the unique high desert environment, the grape varieties led by the titan that is Malbec, and the specific regions from the dizzying heights of Salta to the windswept plains of Patagonia. Let's get going. So, how do you grow world-class grapes in a desert? You look up. The story of Argentina is the story of the Andes Mountains. These mountains provide the water, the protection, and most importantly, the altitude that makes viticulture possible. Let's start with the climate. In general, Argentine wine regions have a continental climate, but more specifically, they are hot and arid. The key geographical feature is the rain shadow cast by the Andes. The mountains block the damp winds coming from the Pacific Ocean to the west. This means rainfall is incredibly low, often less than 200 millimeters a year. This creates a paradox. You have brilliant, intense sunshine, but very little water. So your solution is water management. Because of this aridity, irrigation is essential. Historically, growers used flood irrigation. This is an ancient method where water is channeled from rivers fed by Andean snowmelt directly into the vineyards. It's cheap and plentiful. However, in newer, steeper vineyards where water is scarce, producers have switched to drip irrigation. This is much more efficient and allows the winemaker to control exactly how much water each vine gets. The defining characteristic of Argentine wine is altitude. Most vineyards are planted at 600 meters or above. In Salta, they can go up to 3,000 meters. Why does this matter? Because for every 100 meters you go up, the temperature drops. This altitude cools the average temperature, allowing grapes to ripen slowly and retain acidity and fresh fruit flavors, even though they are close to the equator. So we have a high diurnal range. The sun is hot during the day, essential for sugar and color accumulation, but the temperature plummets at night. This nightly cooling shuts down the vine's metabolism, preserving the acid. This heat during the day often saw parral or pergola systems originally used so the fruit hung down into the shade, but was above the warm earth. Though now vertical trellising is used more, often the canopy management for shade is still pretty important. Now, we do have hazards here. We have some risks. The biggest threat in Argentina is hail. Summer hailstorms can wipe out an entire vintage in minutes. To combat this, many high-value vineyards use protective netting over the vines. It's expensive, but necessary. Spring frosts are also a risk, but on the upside, the dry air means rot and mildew are very rare. This makes Argentina a world leader in organic viticulture because chemical sprays are rarely needed. Now let's look at grape varieties in winemaking. As far as our red or black grapes, Malbec, this is the flagship. Originally a blending grape in Bordeaux, it found its spiritual home here. Argentine Malbec is deeply colored, full-bodied with notes of black fruit and smooth tannins. We have an effective altitude here. At lower altitudes, the wines are fuller and fruitier. At higher altitudes, Malbec becomes more elegant with fresher acidity and more floral aromas, usually of violets. Now, for winemaking, premium examples are often aged in new oak. But the trend is moving towards using less new oak to kind of show that purity of the fruit. Bonarda, this is the second most planted red grape. And don't confuse this with Italian Bonarda. This is actually the grape Douce Noir. Now for style, it's a late ripening variety that produces deeply colored wines with high acidity and fruity raspberry and blackberry notes. It was once relegated primarily for bulk wine, but now creates pretty good value-driven varietal wines when it's been taken care of to reduce the yields and concentrate character. We do see a lot of Cabernet Sauvignon here as well, very widely planted and creates premium wines, and they're often blended with Malbec to add tannic structure. Syrah does well here and thrives in the warmer province of San Juan, creating rich, spicy, full-bodied wines. Now over to the white grapes, we have Torrontés. This is Argentina's signature white grape. It produces an intensely aromatic wine with sense of perfume, grapes, and peach. It's almost similar to Gewürz. It usually has a medium body and medium acidity. Now with winemaking, it's crucial to ferment this in inert vessels to protect those delicate floral aromas. It's generally drunk young. We do see Chardonnay widely planted, and it produces premium wines in the cooler, high-altitude sites like the Uco Valley, often with a little oak maturation. Their styles often straddle between California's stereotypical heavy oak and Burgundy's more gently oaking. Now let's map out the wine regions from north to south. In the far north, near the border with Bolivia, we find Salta province. Now, Cafayate, this is the key region here. It is home to some of the highest vineyards in the world, sitting at 2,000 meters or more. Now, this extreme altitude and intense sunlight produce highly concentrated wines. This is the gold standard region for Torrontés, producing wines of immense aromatic purity. You also find powerful Malbec and Cabernet Sauvignon here. Moving south, we hit San Juan, the second biggest producing region. Now, it's lower in altitude, about ranging 450 to 1,400 meters, and is noticeably hotter and drier than Mendoza. The wine, it's famous for Syrah, as well as Malbec and Bonarda. Next is the giant Mendoza. This region dominates Argentine wine, accounting for the vast majority of production. It is situated in the desert, completely reliant on water from the mountains. Now, we divide Mendoza into 5 areas, but you need to know 3 specifically. Maipú, located east of Mendoza City. This is a traditional area at lower altitudes, about 600 to 800 meters. Now, because it's lower, it is warmer. It produces huge volumes of wine, specifically inexpensive to mid-priced Malbec, Cab Sauv, and Syrah. You will find lots of old vines here, particularly Bonarda and Malbec. Then Luján de Cuyo, located just southwest of Mendoza City. Altitudes here are a little bit higher, 900 to 1,100 meters. This area has a reputation for very high quality Malbec. The wines are soft, round, and sweet spiced. It is home to many incredible old vine vineyards. Then Uco Valley. As we move further southwest toward the mountains, here's where we find the Uco Valley. Now, this is the highest cultivated area within Mendoza, 900 to 1,500 meters. And because of the altitude, the nights are very cool. This retains acidity and produces wines with fresh fruit and floral notes. It's the source for some of the most elegant and premium Malbec, Chardonnay, and Torrontés in the country. Finally, we travel all the way south into Patagonia, specifically the Rio Negro province. Here, the cooling influences latitude, not just altitude. It is much further from the equator. It is a desert, but it creates long, warm days with very cool nights. The major challenge here is the strong wind. Now, the cooler climate is perfect for Pinot Noir, can still do Merlot and Sauvignon Blanc, alongside more elegant Malbecs. So let's do a quick wrap up. Argentina is defined by its warm continental climate. mitigated by the rain shadow of the Andes. Success here depends on managing water through flood or drip irrigation, protection against hail with netting, and utilizing altitude to achieve a high diurnal range that preserves natural acidity. Malbec is the star, ranging from fruity and full-bodied in Maipú to floral and structured in the Uco Valley and Luján de Cuyo. Don't forget Bonarda as the second red, and Torrontés as the aromatic white queen of the north in Cafayate. And whether it's the extreme heights of Salta, the diverse terroirs of Mendoza, or the southern latitude of Patagonia, Argentina offers a unique study in how geography dictates wine style. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.